We got the new MacBook Pro, the M4 Max. This is one of the best ones that you can purchase in the year 2024. We have the M1, M2, M3, and now the M4. If you haven't seen the review of the M3 Max that I had earlier this year, check out in the card above if you're looking for another option. And I will also be comparing the M3 Max versus the M4 Max if it's really worth that much of an upgrade, especially for the type of use that you will use it for. If you're interested in any of the products, please go down in the description box down below, as I do have it listed. Everyone's favorite part when it comes to Mac, you have this little tab you pull. It's like a FedEx package. I am really hoping to see something different for the M4 Max. You have the MacBook itself. Now I'll flip it up. Hopefully it doesn't fall out or hit me in my face. All right, pull this out, and it has this little wrapper on there. It's a similar feel to gift wrap. You can kind of hear it, and we'll open that up shortly. But I'm more curious about the accessories that it does include. Now it has their MagSafe 3 charger, which I could care less about. I was hoping that they would just go straight USB-C. Come on, Apple, can you please the next time use something like a Thunderbolt 4 wire or a Thunderbolt 5 wire? It would be a lot nicer than getting these MagSafe wires, because honestly, to me, I find them useless. You have the little brick that they give you. I wouldn't say so little, right? Provides up to 140 watts of charging. And of course, you get the little designed by Apple booklet they give you. Oh wow, they actually give you a microfiber wipe. This is a first. I don't remember the other ones having this, but it actually comes with it. And hopefully it's got to be compatible, because it came with the M4 Max. It's got to be compatible with the screen. There are some features that I'm really excited to share with you, and I'll get more into the specifications about it. How different is the weight? How different is the construction? How different is the color? How different is this from last year's M3 Max? Well, we're gonna open up this waxy piece of paper here. On the bottom here, or maybe I haven't noticed, but it has a little embroidery of MacBook Pro right there. That's pretty dope, right? I kind of miss the older Macs, especially the Intel Macs, where the Apple glue, or glowed, or glue, however you say that word. When it used to glow, that was a really nice feature that I personally liked a lot about it. Now, I did opt in for the space black feature, so it looks exactly like the other one. Feels slightly, I'm guessing it feels slightly lighter. Now when you open these up, typically it's going to turn on by itself, even though I don't want it to. But to further examine it, or to explain the MacBook Pro, we're going to have to. But first, what is different about the construction? Actually, it's going to be the same for the most part. It's 100% recycled aluminum. Very decent feel, even though it's recycled aluminum. Everything about this MacBook Pro is recycled, including down to the circuit board, believe it or not. Even its capacitors, even the earth materials that they do use. The finish prevents any type of smudging and feels quite nice. Let me explain the ports that it does have. Now, it has the MagSafe connection there, as USB-C, USB-C, a headphone jack or audio jack. You can use it for an HDMI and a USB-C and SD card slot. Now, most importantly, what's different is that it does feature Thunderbolt 5. So it's a little bit quicker than Thunderbolt 4. Thunderbolt 4 can only go up to 40 gigabits per second. Thunderbolt 5 can go up to 120 gigabits per second. Now, if you're curious about the heat dissipation, it just goes through the vents in the back here, similar to its predecessors. Now, what is really different about this model? Wish that Apple really did is just get rid of the HDMI port, because nobody really uses that. In my personal opinion, it's better if they just replaced it with USB-C. Mostly any display that you use does provide USB-C, would be a lot more useful than having an HDMI port. The specifications of the one that I did get was the M4 Max. Now, of course, they give you this little cotton paper here. I'm going to show you how to transfer off of Windows if you're interested in getting into Mac, which is a really easy step. It has Sequoia 15.1. Let's take a look. The model of the M4 Max that I chose to get, 16-core neural engine, 12 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores, and up to 40 GPU cores. The SoC is built for Apple's intelligence. I did opt in for 64 gigabytes of RAM. You could go up to 128 gigabytes for the M4 Max. The smallest amount you can get is about 36 gigabytes of RAM for the most basic model. The storage drive goes to 1 terabyte, all the way down to 8 terabytes. Personally, for me, I opted in for 1 terabyte because, again, you have the option of external drives. I'm not going to pay $300 another terabyte. And most importantly, if you're worried about the codecs, it features up to H.264, HEVC, ProRes RAW. It also features video decode engines, and it has AV1 decode. When you first get a MacBook Pro, you're gonna have to set it up. It's gonna look something like this. We're gonna go with English, continue, US, and then you have your accessibility. If anything makes it a little bit easier for you to use it, we're gonna go not now. You can connect to your home network. This does have Wi-Fi 6E. It doesn't have Wi-Fi 7, unfortunately. Now it goes into data and privacy. We're just gonna continue here. And now if you're gonna migrate, you can use something like this from a Windows PC if you choose to. If you want to transfer your information from Windows, you can easily do it through here. Now it's gonna recommend you to connect it through AC power. Now, while it's migrating, it's going to give you a transfer code. So you're just going to go to the Windows Migration Assistance app, and then you just connect it for your Sequoia 15.1. We're just going to do not now. We'll sign into the account. So you should have a code that pops up on your phone. We'll just call it Chris. So people who say Macs don't freeze up, here's proof that they actually do. And we'll finish setting this up here. You can select whatever you want on. We're gonna go to continue. We can turn that on. And this has your file vault encryption if you'd like. Touch ID, how to set it up. You just place your finger on there. When you first start it up, it's gonna look something like this. Now, one thing that kills me is I don't know why they still have this notch up here. Apple's M4 Max display is Liquid Retina XDR display. It can be a 14.2 inch display, or you can have the 16 inch one, which is the one that I personally picked out. And it goes by 3024 by 1964 native resolution. It does have up to 1 billion colors, and it does have True Tone technology. And it has a resolution about 254 pixels per inch. The XDR brightness can go up to 1000 nits, also has up to 1600 nits peaked. And on top of it, it is a 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio. Refresh rate is up to 120 Hertz. And most importantly, I want to show you how different this Nanotexture display. Here I'm shining a LED panel in front of the LED display. If you don't notice the difference already, what it does is it disperses the light, which gives it more of a diffused look when it reflects back on the display. Therefore, if you're out in the sun on the MacBook Pro, then it should seem that the light isn't so radiant when you are looking at your display. If you are comparing it to the glossy display, personally to me, I feel like it has a better look, but it is a personal preference. Now, if you do want the Nanotexture display, it is a extra $150 option. When using a external display, you can simply hook it up to the USB-C. You go to the arrange side to really set it up properly. And this makes a lot more sense for the current setup that I have. Now, the great part about using an external display, you can easily use it as a dual display. On the bottom, you'll have something similar to a dock. And then on the top is my Asus ROG 34-inch monitor, which is OLED, which I personally love for video editing. It is a great tool when it comes to the MacBook Pro. Even though it's on a much larger display, this gives you no hiccups and performs excellent. Now, it can simultaneously support up to full resolution and its built-in display, and it can go up to 4 external displays with up to 6K resolution. It's going to be 60 Hz over Thunderbolt, and 1 external display up to 4K resolution at 144 Hz. Thunderbolt 4 digital output can go up to DisplayPort 1.4, which is why I was saying that is the best way to go, which is practically like USB 4. And now Thunderbolt 5 has up to DisplayPort 2.1, which is good for 8K over 30 frames per second. Its audio playback also features AAC, MP3, and Apple lossless technology. Keyboard is also backlit. It also has an ambient light sensor, force touch trackpad for precise cursor control, and has pressure sensing capability, which is like a haptic feedback. It goes up to Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3. Now the camera has improved. It is a 12 megapixel center stage camera, and it goes up to 1080p HD video recording. Audio is high fidelity 6-speaker sound system with force canceling woofers and support spatial audio. Now, as dynamic head tracking, if you're using your Airpods, if you choose to connect it with that, but personally to me, I use my Sony earbuds, which performs very well, which is the WMF XM5s. To operate this, make sure you operate between 50 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 10 to 35 degrees Celsius. Anything higher, you're risking of damage, and do not operate in the rain. Up to about 90% humidity at the most, which I personally wouldn't do anyway. And its altitude can go up to 10,000 feet, which is about 3,000 meters. Now, what type of apps does it feature? It features App Store, books, calendars, contacts, all your basic iPhone apps that you use. Plus, it does have GarageBand. It does have an update to Final Cut Pro, if you're familiar with that. It does have Time Machine if you choose to bring back from a, say, old Intel MacBook Pro. It does also have iPhone mirroring, which I personally love. One of my personal favorite features that it has, and it's funny, especially you Windows users are going to laugh about this, but it actually has a multi-window feature. You can actually open up a window and say I'm clicking into, say this, just 2 random tabs that I just opened up. You can actually split the windows. Yes, you could never do that with Mac, and if you did, you have to purchase something out the App Store to do it. But now you can absolutely split the windows without issue. You just drag it open, and it gives you that cascade similar to what Windows does. It's not perfect, but it certainly does get the job done, especially if you are a multitasker just like me. Some of the features that I'm just about to show you are not just exclusive to the M4 Max. Now, it does come with these features because it is already loaded with Sequoia, but if you can also take advantage of Apple's intelligence. Now, it's still considered in beta mode, but what I mean is if you were to go to Notes and you were to write some sort of quick summary up, so just a really simple phrase I put in, now you can take advantage of the writing tools. You just right click it and you'll have the writing tools right here, just like on your iPhone. And then you just click rewrite, or you can make it friendly if you feel it's too straightforward, and it will rewrite it. It's something to take advantage of, especially in Sequoia. And another very important feature that I gotta show you guys is understanding this guy right here, the trackpad. This is going to be the most important thing you have to learn about using a MacBook. Reason why? Because most of the items that you will be using, even if you prefer using a mouse, it's just good to know how to use this trackpad because it contains a lot of shortcuts. Such as if I'm opening up this browser back open and I want to go back, I just swipe back and it will go back to a page. You swipe forward, and then if you want to get notifications, you can also swipe forward here. You get your notifications. To open up your app drawer, you just close your hand just like this. So it is good to understand all these gestures. The Apple ecosystem is one of the features that you could really appreciate when it comes to the MacBook Pro. If you have your Apple Watch, you can use it to unlock your MacBook Pro, and your iPhone will be able to do things such as messaging, airdrops, iPhone mirroring, and much more. The best part when you are using a MacBook Pro, it works great when it is in Adobe software, such as Adobe Lightroom, Adobe Premiere, and Adobe After Effects. Encoding works excellent and it does not stutter at all. It can perform just as well even if you do not have the MacBook Pro plugged in. Wait till you see the benchmarks. Probably didn't expect to see Steam Big Picture mode in Mac, but just to show you the capabilities, I just wanted to give you an idea of how it can look like. And ironically, unequivocally, I am using a Xbox controller on a Mac OS. I'm sure this is all types of violations here, but just to give you an idea of what you can do with the MacBook Pro, you can absolutely play games. Now, this isn't even streaming from a desktop PC, but you're just gaming on the hardware itself. And you can see how well and defined the graphics are. But to let you know about the battery life when you do play any type of games on a MacBook Pro, the maximum you can expect is about 2 to 3 hours. So when you are gaming on a MacBook Pro and you miss that gaming laptop sound, just turn on the game and you'll hear the fans kick right on. You don't only have to worry that the only game is chess. Yes, you can absolutely play Steam games on Mac OS, but just know the list is limited. I've really got to mess around with the M4 Max to really see if it's worth getting for everybody out there who especially are just switching over to a MacBook. Now, if you're switching over to a MacBook, it could be quite an experience, especially when you are coming from Windows, and there is going to be a learning curve, but I promise you, it really won't be that long, especially how much more simplified the new Mac OS system is, Sequoia. Take a look at these benchmarks because they are quite impressive, especially when it comes to Cinebench and how quick it can run these tasks that you can expect out of a M4 Max machine. The battery life that I pulled out of the M4 Max was just over 4 hours, about 4 hours and 5 minutes. Now this includes a standby time of 14 hours and 52 minutes of standby time. That ran the test again and I extended a little bit more use out of it, so you definitely can expect 4 hours of good usage on Premiere Pro. Same thing when it comes to other tasks such as Lightroom and Photoshop. When you're browsing and you're watching different videos and movies, get more life out of the MacBook Pro. Now realistically, I get about between 15 to 16 hours of usage that you can look forward to, especially if you're looking to perform tasks more portably. The XDR display that it does provide is still quite stunning. I gotta say the disappointing part of Mac's new lineup here is that it still is on Wi-Fi 6E. It also still doesn't have a OLED screen. Come on, Apple, everything is OLED now. Your new iPad 7th generation tablets are OLED, but yet your MacBook Pros don't have OLED. And the third disappointing part is that the design is still pretty much the same. It really hasn't changed. The ports are practically the same. They didn't even bother changing the wallpaper from the MacBook Pro with the M3 in it. I have to give it a 8 out of 10. It's still a really excellent device, but it falls short of my expectations. If I gave it a 7 out of 10, that would have been a little bit too rough, so I feel 8 out of 10 is just right. Because again, it still does perform a lot of tasks. You do get some audio processing, sound issues. If you're dragging audio when it comes to audio skimming into Premiere, you can hear a little pop, a little bit of bleed through when it comes to the LED, when it comes to the J key on the M4 Max. You're paying more for a premium product, but it doesn't feel as premium as it did in prior models. I hope you found this content very useful. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you know anybody else who is into PC and tech, make sure you share this video with them. And also, if not part of the big, wonderful fan band, make sure you go down and hit the subscribe button for more. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. And for all the newest updates, make sure you follow my X handle right here, as it is the same as my TikTok and IG as well. And now I can finally talk about the giveaway. I'm excited to talk about this giveaway because for you guys who have been part of this channel for a long time, I really want to show appreciation. The way I'm going to thank everybody out there for being part of this channel, I want to give one $50 gift card. If you're interested in being part of this giveaway, make sure you go down in the description box down below, as there is more information down there. Now, I'm going to have this giveaway go on for about a month, or maybe a little bit over a month, just to give people time to take a look at it. Just make sure you get involved and give yourself a chance to win the $50 gift card. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Chris Mizo, signing out.